investigating him for some time. They never had a chance to grab him until now. We got lucky, Sarge. I also heard, especially from OSI, he has connections with a terrorist organization in the PLO and some others from the Middle East. You know, this guy sells drugs throughout Europe and the money is used to buy weapons for terrorism. He paused slightly, grasping some air from all the excitement after he considered this to be the arrest of a lifetime. If that is true, how in the hell he got to be a cop in the US Army, and why is he still a cop? Better yet, what in the hell is he doing securing a top-secret facility, as I headed pissed off to Colonel D for a chat. All the top officers were meeting in a corner of the building, talking very suspiciously, quietly, and tense. I tried to speak to Colonel D, but he said not now, while rushing with Colonel Chase outside the security site into a vehicle, screeching tires as they left. No one knew where they were going. I noticed Captain Spectre wasn't with them. I thought of finding him to ask if he knew anything when Tiger pulled me to a police vehicle, alerting on it. At first, I thought it was a dead scent since Sneaky was in there, but he wasn't in it now. Where is this sneaky suspect at? As I yelled out to everyone. Someone from the ART team yelled, "OS, I took him." I yelled again, "How come the others are still here and Sneaky is the only one gone?" "Don't know, Sarge." Tiger would not stop alerting, which led me to believe it wasn't a dead scent, so I opened the door and let Tiger in. She jumped on the back seat, stuck her nose inside the back bottom of the seat, and pulled out a plastic bag containing more small cocaine bags with the same black and yellow warning tags. It looked like a kilo of cocaine, and I bet I know who left it behind. How is this possible, since Captain Spectre searched them? If this sneaky character was searched, handcuffed, and placed alone in this vehicle, this only means... Where is Captain Spectre? Everybody find him, as I yelled out loudly. A black Ford Crown Victoria was exiting the facility with no prior approval. A guard yelled, "It's Captain Spectre and he won't stop." The new guards tried to stop him, avoiding being assaulted by the speeding vehicle. I ran to my truck with Tiger chasing Captain Spectre. Code 3. Kilo 1 to main desk. "Go ahead, Kilo 1, replied the desk sergeant. "I'm pursuing a black Ford Crown Victoria, government plates G69069, heading north towards the front gate. Suspect is a Captain Spectre, personal assistant to our Army Commander Colonel Chase. He exited area NBC unauthorized and is failing to pull over. He is wanted as a suspect in drug trafficking and several counts in attempted vehicular homicide for now." The chase continued. Captain Spectre was not stopping, and I don't think he will. He hit a golf cart with two golfers in it. They avoided getting hit by the Ford, overturning the cart on its side. The desk sergeant alerted the base condition red. Every gate guard stops incoming and outgoing traffic on base. Captain Spectre was approaching the main gate and was traveling at a high rate of speed. He smashes several stopped vehicles, sideswiping them, and crashes against the guardhouse, shooting parts of it, flying in all directions. The guards have no choice other than to throw themselves to the ground, avoiding being hit by a desperate man in a 3,500-pound weapon. Steam begins to come out of the radiator as the Crown Victoria heads to a canal full of river water. The vehicle begins to fly down the hill and smashes into a water canal while the trunk breaks open and a huge cloud of white cocaine larger than the size of the vehicle blends into the chilly air. Numerous counts of large plastic bags filled with cocaine are scattered everywhere. I arrived next to the side of the canal and noticed Captain Spectre running from the damaged Ford. He was limping, which led to believe he was hurt. I yelled, "Stop or I will release my dog." Captain Spectre continued. I yelled twice, and he kept running. "Go get him, girl." Tiger jumped out of the passenger side window, chasing after that idiot. She got close, jumped into the air and bit into his left buttock, getting a good chunk of his ass, pants, and human flesh while knocking him to the ground. Captain Spectre turned around on the ground, hitting Tiger on the face many times. He knew it was the end, but he didn't quit. He yelled at her and like another vicious animal and began biting her back. Here I got worried for Tiger. Who in their right mind will bite back a trained police dog? I pulled the weapon from my holster, ready to shoot him and call her off. I was about 2/3 the distance from them when he stopped biting her and pulled something out of his shirt pocket, putting it in his mouth. He instantly began foaming at the mouth and twitching uncontrollably. He stopped moving, so I called Tiger off and she returned to me. The area had a strong smell of almonds. This smell indicated to me it was cyanide, a very deadly poison. Tiger was lucky not getting any of it in her system. I checked Tiger for bite marks on her. Behind me arrived the German police and my other team members from base. The German police took over the scene since they have exclusive jurisdiction in their country. They only knew about a vehicle being stolen from the base by a drug user, nothing else, especially the site. Other U.S. agencies joined them in a full-scale joint terrorism task force investigation for drugs and weapons trafficking. Chapter 5. It was time to leave the scene of the dead Captain Spectre. Captain Smart approached me and asked, "Nelson, you and Tiger okay?" "Yes, sir, a little tired but we're both okay." "Sir, if you don't mind, I'll leave the full report on your desk early in the morning." "Okay," as I headed in my truck back to base. "No problem, but Colonel D wants to see you right now." "Yes, sir, on our way." I radioed Susan and told her to meet me at Colonel D's office. I arrived in a matter of minutes after dropping off Tiger at the kennels. Susan met me inside the first floor entrance of the base commander's office building. She grabbed my arm, took me outside and informed me to what she discovered. She grabbed me strong. I never noticed before, but she was toned muscular, something she wasn't when we were married. She looked very nice in the uniform. There was a major problem at the army barracks. The place was full of CID agents. An ambulance was parked in front of the barracks and crime scene investigators, CSI, were parked there also. Since the place was in lockdown, only authorized army personnel were permitted. I tried to get in and find out more but couldn't. I checked with a friend at OSI and all I got was, this sneaky individual was taken into custody by high-level officers and they all disappeared into thin air. Nobody knows anything else. Everything is highly classified as top secret, need to know only. Nelson, you were right, as always. Man, I hate it when you get this gut feeling working. Susan was very scared, especially when we're out in a limbo. I thanked her and told her to keep her eyes open but first, go to the dentist, to take care of her painful mouth. She has been holding her cheek all day long with pain and not complaining. What a trooper. Go see a doctor for that. It's an order. I headed up the elevator to Colonel D's office. While going up, I'm thinking these crazy things happen all the time, especially when my gut feels this funny. All hell breaks loose just like those movies with Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, but those are movie special effects. This is real life. The elevator door opens. There were guards at the front door, which I've only seen on alert conditions. The guards let me into the office where Colonel D's secretary received me, most graciously offering me coffee. How can I say no to coffee? Not to be a cliché about law enforcement, but there were dozens of donuts from all varieties. It was breakfast for me anyway. During my super late breakfast, high-ranking officials both from the base and Germany were arriving to see Colonel D. They were going in before me, so I kept eating. I was very hungry from a long-ass day, not to mention, tired of today's events. We were in the early hours of the next following day. "Sergeant Nelson. Colonel D will now see you," the secretary said while making and answering phone calls. I entered the colonel's office, approached his front desk, put myself in attention and stated, "Sir, Sergeant Nelson reports as ordered." "At ease," he said. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for a preliminary debriefing about the classified events that occurred yesterday on our base. The President has been briefed. He placed a priority on this matter. There are members of all agencies present, military and civilian. Members of the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, welcome to the party. Not everyone will speak. We're here to report an update on some of the investigations. Some are in progress as we speak, and some will begin after this meeting has terminated. This is classified top secret, need to know only. OSI and the CIA are the primary investigation agencies as ordered by the President. You guys go first." As the colonel sat back on his chair, an OSI officer addressed the room. "Sir, ladies, and gentlemen, we have in custody a soldier by an alias as Sneaky. Yesterday he was apprehended by Sergeant Nelson's operations team at Area NBC. After identifying him, we took custody immediately. We have been after him for some time, however no evidence was ever found, until now. After charging him with various counts of conspiracy, drug trafficking, terrorist activities, murder and treason, he began to sing like a starving woodpecker pounding on a tree. Since we made a deal with him, he gave us more information, and this is what we have until now. There is a worldwide operation that begins in a base in the state of Florida. There are military and civilians involved with this matter. Generally, a C-130 cargo aircraft from top secret authority leaves full of various types of weapons, ammo, explosives, missiles, and much more. This aircraft lands in areas of Central and South America. The cargo of weapons is left there, and the plane is reloaded with millions of dollars of cocaine. The C-130 cargo plane returns to Florida. It is not searched, being a classified top secret mission. DEA, ATF, Coast Guard, Immigration, and the other agencies have no way of touching them for this reason. Some of the cargo is transported on various types of trucks with many different business company names. These trucks leave to various places throughout the United States, deliver the cocaine and return with another cargo of money, weapons, ammo, etc., etc., etc. for another mission. This is a major international ring, all the way up to a higher command that we are beginning to learn about. Some of the pilots and other participating personnel involved are being arrested as we speak. The rest of the cocaine and the weapons come to Europe, this airbase for example. The code word Caterpillar is used when arriving here. Captain Spectre, who killed himself yesterday, was directly responsible for this base's transfers. Soldier Sneaky was responsible for the military police security, and someone from the Air Force was responsible for their side of security as well. This base alone moved 500 kilos of cocaine, or $10 million a week. The cocaine and weapons received on this base were transferred into trucks with European commercial names. The interchangeable magnet signs were placed on the sides of the trucks. The cargo was delivered throughout the continent. This is much like the procedures used in the US. The weapons were sent to the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. The C-130 aircraft was again reloaded, but with heroin from the Middle East. They were using the same European commercial names on the sides, printed on the trucks. The aircraft returned with the code name Butterfly. The money is being laundered elsewhere. CIA is taking care of that. In conclusion, this terrorist activity regenerated tens of millions of dollars. We are identifying drug distributors, traffickers, weapons dealers, pilots, military and civilians working on several bases. Every minute we continue to identify new and more as we continue this investigation. Sir, this is basically it. Thank you for the report, Special Agent, said Colonel D. There is just one more thing, sir. CID and CSI have sensitive information to report, and their report is somewhat more of a special and personal nature. I prefer that they disclose their findings, replied the agent in an unusual, sad, and suspicious tone. The CID agent asked if I could leave the room, and Colonel D told him no and just get on with it. I was surprised and bothered with his comments. What does he mean if I can't be trusted? The agent began to report. Sir, we have completed a file concerning forensics with CSI. Lieutenant Dunn, an Army officer on duty at the time, was found murdered. We found Lieutenant Dunn dead inside a locker from an office inside the Army Barracks Building 714. This is where the on-duty officers work while performing their administrative duties. The evidence proves he was murdered in the morning hours at around 9 a.m. After photos were taken, we extracted the corpse from the locker. During the examination, we found a piece of a broken tooth stuck in Lieutenant Dunn's head. This was the only piece of evidence we had linking the killer to the scene. The killer knew what to do as far as forensics is concerned. According to the evidence, there was a struggle from the start, beginning from the office desk computers. The killer choked Lieutenant Dunn to death from behind using a guitar metal wire. The killer was very strong since the wire passed 1/3 through into his neck. The evidence also proves Lieutenant Dunn kicked backwards so hard that he hit the killer's teeth against his head, breaking one, piercing through the skin into the cranial skull. This piece of tooth stayed behind, leaving the evidence. From this location we took a sample of blood, saliva, and the tooth for DNA testing and conducted a DNA test in the lab. We researched the classified Department of Defense files and found a positive match. The killer was also identified as another conspirator to the nuclear cocaine bust, conducted in Area NBC. The primary suspect for the murder is, as he stopped and looked at me with frightening eyes. Sir, I'm not sure I want to do this, until you read the name on the official report, said the agent to the colonel with a convinced face that he didn't want to be in his own shoes. Let me have the report, said the colonel softly while the agent passed the report to him with the greatest sign of relief, ever. Colonel D read the report carefully and looked at the agent and asked slowly, are you all very sure this is correct? Would you put your career, no, your life on this? The CID and CSI agents looked at him firmly but sadly and replied, yes sir, 100% match. The OSI agent was the third person in knowing secretly from everyone else the name